Happy Malaysia Day! Wait, didn't we just celebrate Independence Day on August 31st? Well, I'm not complaining about another national holiday, but let's at least find out how September 16 came about. It was on this date in 1963, the formation of Malaysia came after the signing of Malaysia Agreement 1963 between the UK, the Federation of Malaya, Sarawak, Sabah and Singapore. But in 1976, Sabah and Sarawak were downgraded from being equal members to just states following the amendment of the Federal Constitution. This is where all the problems began.
We have been cheated for more than 5 decades. Just for example, our 40% that is supposed to be given to Sabah. It was never given to Sabah since 1964.
Activist Zainal Ajamain is right. Under the terms of the Malaysia Agreement, Sabah was entitled to 40% of the total tax revenue, but it has not been the case. According to Parti Cinta Sabah President Dato Sri Wilfred Bumburing, Sabah has been paid 26.7 million ringgit every year since 1974. Compare that with Selangor's total revenue of 2.25 billion ringgit in 2017. Of course, it's not a simple apples-to-apples comparison, but it's hard to not react to the difference. But the matter is actually more complex than that. There are of course many reasons for this, but earning so little from both their tax together with their oil wealth goes a long way towards explaining why East Malaysians are so much poorer and less developed than folks who live in KL, JB and Penang. PKR Secretary-General Dato Nasution Ismail has even said that the former government is to be blamed for this inequality, that BN and UMNO kept East Malaysians poor so that they could be controlled. Whether true or not, the new PM Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad during his recent visit to Sabah to celebrate Malaysia Day rightly recognizes that East Malaysia needs to catch up with West Malaysia. He has, drum roll please, promised to restore Sabah and Sarawak status as equal partners under the new Malaysia. But it's not going to be easy. First, Pakatan Harapan need a 2/3 parliamentary majority, which it currently does not have, to amend the Federal Constitution, which means other parties, notably the UMNO and past backbenchers, also need to agree. And in politics, nothing comes free, meaning that somewhere someone will have to compromise. But secondly, and this is a larger issue, Tun M's reputation in Sabah hasn't been that great. So, he needs to repair that too. Critics say Mahathir wanting to restore Sabah's status is not all that it appears to be. Recall that Tun M did not campaign in Sabah in the last GE14, supposedly due to lingering ill feelings against him. In December last year, UPCO President Dato Sri Wilfred Madios Tangau said that Sabahans would always remember Project IC, which granted citizenships to foreigners, a project they would always tie to Tun M. Although to keep things in context, one should also remember that BN actually continued that project despite Mahathir not being PM anymore. But there also was Mahathir's use of the Internal Security Act against people who campaigned for more equality and more rights. Veteran Sabah politician Dato Dr. Jeffrey Kittingan has said that the previous Tun Dr. Mahathir was only interested in squeezing Sabah and Sarawak of their resources, treating the two states like stepchildren. It is no wonder then that some Sabahans and Sarawakians don't see themselves as Malaysians, but as cash cows that got exploited to its fullest. As for Sarawak, Tan Kok Chiang, spokesperson for the Sarawakians, or S4S, say that they have been shortchanged in many areas, especially oil and gas and education. They even staged a protest themed "It's a Sad Day" on September 16 this year. Many East Malaysians blame Tun M for neglecting Sabah and Sarawak during his first tenure as Prime Minister, which has sparked an anti-Mahathir rally, especially before the GE this year, which could be why Tun M at age 93 is now trying to right the wrongs of his past, perceived or otherwise. So can Sabahans and Sarawakians really believe him this time? Well, it seems like he's trying to make amends by announcing a 20% oil profit to be given to all oil-producing states. But some are still not happy. They think Sabah and Sarawak should get an even higher share. Critics of Mahathir's olive branch say there has to be real political will to push this through and to ensure that Sabahans and Sarawakians get what they think they truly deserve, and more importantly, that the current government has to first gain the confidence and trust of the people of Sabah and Sarawak, then to push through real changes. Changes like better education, including having English medium schools, reliable and available water and electricity, proper border security and internal safety, amongst other things. East Malaysians say top priority now is for Mahathir and the rest of Pakatan Harapan to show that they are serious about redressing the balance and to ensure that wealth is shared among all Malaysians. After all, doesn't a rising tide lift all boats? And while there are inequities in the peninsula as well, some would say that it has been a long time coming for Sabah and Sarawak. For isn't equal treatment is what we wanted to see for the country when we voted for Pakatan Harapan in GE14? Just saying.